Hello guys, this is Ben from UpBots, and I'm really delighted to make this video today in order to share with you all the improvements that we have done so far at UpBots in IT development, but not only. And I saw that, well, actually it's a new year, so it's the right time to share with you all those elements and what we are planning in the coming weeks and in the coming months. So let's go. So today I'm going to talk about different subjects, and the first one will be some facts and figures about UpBots and our token. Then we're going to move to the UBXT token situation. It's not an analysis, it's more about explanation for the current supply and what you can expect in the near future. Then we're going to talk about the IT development, so that's really the big part. We'll also move on to the DAO subject, so it's something that we are right now working on. So I'm going to explain in details what we are trying to do and how we're going to do it. Then we're going to talk about the new performance fees calculation. So I'm going to give you more details about the new way to calculate those performance fees. And in the end, we're going to talk about the planning updates and what you can expect in the coming weeks and months. Yeah, perhaps it's the first time that you are hearing about UpBots, so I will start by shortly explaining you what we are trying to do with this interface. So UpBots is an all-in-one trading interface for the crypto traders. Everything is blockchain based, and we are not only targeting the crypto traders, we are also targeting the forex trader and commodities traders, because we're going to implement those sectors in the second stage, normally in the end of 2021. But in short, what we have and what we plan to have on the interface is, of course, a wallet tracker to let the user see the evolution of their different portfolio. It can be on centralized exchange like Binance, like KuCoin, like FTX, but it can also be an Ethereum wallet. And so we're going to track all the assets that the user has on his Ethereum wallet, and we can also give him some advice and some insight on the different liquidity pool he's participating in. Beside this, we have, of course, the manual trade with basic version and advanced version with many different features and safeties, trailing stop, trailing profits, cross-market orders, etc. We also have the main features of UpBots is, of course, the algo rental section, and it's completely different from what you can find on the market, because with UpBots, we think that it's not fair to pay in advance for an algorithm, especially if that algorithm is not making any profits. And also because there is a difference for someone trading $1,000 and someone trading $100,000. So that's why we developed a performance fees-based system where the people will only pay if they are making profits. And all this thanks to UBXT. Those bots are developed by partners, but also by the community themselves. But I will explain that a little bit later. We also have a marketplace with training. We have the swap. We're going to also launch the signal provider subscription if you prefer to be in autopilot, and also the social copy trading, of course. So the idea is really to bring everything in one single place and to have the most advanced trading interface. No matter if you are a beginner in the trading space, or if you already have experience, or even if you prefer to rent your algorithm or rent your strategy. Now let's talk shortly about some facts and figures. The first one, you probably know it, we are currently listed on 5 exchanges, decentralized or centralized. So you can already find the UBXT token on KuCoin, on FTX for the centralized exchanges, and on Uniswap, SushiSwap, and Serum for the decentralized one. Regarding the other elements, we currently already have the demo version live on demo.upbots.com with more than 600 people already plugged with at least one wallet on the interface. We also have more than 7,500 people on the waiting list, and more than 200 people already linked to the AlgoBots. The team is composed by 7 developers currently, 6 employees and 5 freelancers. We currently have a price of around 1 cent for the UBXT token, and the daily volume is around $300,000 per day. Now, even if we are not responsible of the trade because we are a software provider, let's look at the results of the current algorithm available on UpBots that foresee trading developed for the interface. So the first one is, of course, Optimus BTC. We currently have around 168 users, and since the December 2, so the official launch of the algorithm on the interface, the bots made over 65% uncompound. For the Optimus ETH, we have a little bit less users with 112 currently for a profit of 60% again in uncompound. And for Optimus BNB, it's again a little bit less users with 88, and the performance are lower this time with only to 7% in uncompound. So the objective of showing you this is not really to promote those algorithms. It's really more to show you that it's already working and that many users are already using those bots for free. If you don't know how to be able to use those bots, currently you have to stake a UBXT token on the FTX interface and then add that wallet to the bots interface. Then we're gonna see that you are actually staking those tokens, and you will get the access to those bots, and you will be able to add up to $2,500 per bot. So this is exactly the example of a bot. We are progressively developing the different features, and these features is already working perfectly. Now let's move on to the UBXT token. So let me explain you shortly the status of the UBXT token. So during the private sale, we sell a lot of tokens, and we plan to deliver those tokens in 12 different payments every 2 weeks starting in September. Currently, there is still 2 payments due, the 2nd of February and 16th of February. So we are close to the end of the delivery of the tokens already sold. Besides this, we have still the development funds. If you read the white paper, you will see that those tokens are locked until September 15th, 2021. Those tokens will be used only for new listing and for further developments. Regarding the team, there is only 4 team members that are qualified to receive tokens. It's 10% of the total supply, and those tokens will be delivered in 2 years, one time every 2 weeks, just like for the private sale. And for the usage of the UBXT, it doesn't change. So it's still to pay the performance fees of the bots, to pay the future access to the interface when the platform will be fully developed, also to access some investment tool that's going to be for Q3, and also for the liquidity provider. But I will explain you that in the DAO section. The main point here is really that we are still trying to manage the liquidity of the tokens on the market. So the plan to decrease progressively the number of tokens is still active. And regarding the performance fees that UpBots will receive, part of those tokens will be burned until the moment we have 50% of all the tokens burned. So it means that if right now we have a total supply of 500 million tokens, in the end, after a few months or a few years, depending on the performance of the bots, we're gonna have a maximum of 250 million tokens. So we are then decreasing the total supply of token, which means that we are creating a kind of scarcity, and this will in the end help the price of the UBXT token. But it's time now to talk about the IT developments. All right, now let's move on to the IT developments. That's the biggest part and probably the most interesting part of this video. So the first element to talk about is the UBXT wallet on UpBots. So we had an issue at the beginning because we wanted to have everything on the blockchain, but currently the gas fees on the Ethereum blockchain are really high. So it was quite complex to have a system where the people can pay the performance fees without having to pay that much for the gas. For an example, if you are earning, I don't know, something like $5 on the last trade, if you have now to pay a gas fees of, I don't know, something like $10, Well, it's completely stupid. So we had to find another solution while keeping everything on the blockchain, and we found one solution is using the Binance chain as a layer 2. So normally Binance chain is not a layer 2, but we use it like this. So what we did is we created a smart contract. And when people will add the UBXT ERC20 token on the interface on their own wallet, a smart contract will then activate the minting of UBXT, so the UBXT on the Binance chain, and then you will see your balance on the Binance chain only. And all the transactions will occur on that chain. The point here with the Binance chain is that the transactions are far less expensive. Currently, they are at between 4 cents to 10 cents. So it's really better for the end user. So the smart contract is already done. The minting of the UBXT is also already done. And right now we are implementing, or at least finishing the implementation of the UBXT ERC20 wallet on the UpBots interface. Another element is the swap. We added the swap function already on the interface. It's fully connected to MetaMask, and we already included the optimization of transaction between the different DEX. So you can already go on the interface and test that features. Another element is the manual trade. I know that many of you was expecting that features already, but we are right now testing the manual trade on the interface for the basic section. So you will be able to trade on Binance and different exchanges for different pairs available. We are right now testing it. It should be available in the coming days if everything is working perfectly as we expect. Then let's move on the ETH portfolio tracker. So this feature has for objective to be able to show you all the assets you have on your MetaMask account, for example, or on another ETH wallet. So we will be able to see all the different coins you have, but also if you are a liquidity provider on Uniswap, for example, if you are using Compound or Curves and the other different projects. So we already connected the API, and right now we are finishing the front end, so mostly the design of that section. It should also arrive in the coming hours or day. Another element is the new exchange for AlgoBots. It's something we are currently working on because currently you can only trade on the Binance exchange. We want to offer the algos also on FTX, and that's planned for the coming days or weeks. Besides this, we are also developing the margin function for those AlgoBots in order to be able to trade for long or shorts. Another element we are also working on right now is the notification and the logs. The notification is mainly to warn you when there is a new trade, when we close a position for you, stuff like this. And for the logs, it's to help you track the evolution of the AlgoBot. So it's going to give you some elements about the current position, the entry price, the current status, the current performance, or the current loss, etc. We're going to add that directly on the AlgoBots page for each different algorithm you activated. And in the end, we are also reworking the design. So it's a separate team that are working on that, and we expect to launch the new design between March and April. And I'm going to show you the design that we're going to use for the next interface. Those designs are based on the feedback we received from the current users, so thank you for that. So in the new design, we're going to have two versions, the light version and the dark version. Here you can see the dark version. So we are not changing a lot of things. It's mainly the design, perhaps the button, and it will also increase the speed of the interface. And here you can see the light version. So depending of your choice and of what you prefer, you will be able to activate one or the other version. Now let's talk about a new subject, is the DAO. So just to be clear, the project is still under development, and some elements I could describe right now or explain could change in the near future because we are still working with the consulting firm for that. So I'm just sharing the current view we have, but some element could still be adapted. So for those who don't know what a DAO is, It's a decentralized organization. And here we want to have a more decentralized organization for UpBots. For that, we want to create a system on the top of the current system to help UpBots to give more voice to the community and also to help the UBXT token by creating the UBXG token that will serve as a governance token and normally will boost the UBXT while ensuring the continuity of our service. So this token will not replace the UBXT token. The UBXT token will always have the same usage, and normally the UBXG will only help him. There is no dilution in that because the usage is completely different and it will attract different kind of users. UBXG is then a ERC20 token with a declining gradual minting over years. So there is no pre-minting, and every week we are decreasing progressively the number of UBXG that we are minting. The purpose of the UBXG is first to reward users contributing to UpBots and the UBXT, also to vote on decisions made for the interface, and lastly to receive rewards for liquidity providers. So what does that mean? Well, actually, we're going to have 3 pools on the UpBots interface. Well, the first week, users will be able to stake the UBXT on the interface, and in return, they will get the UBXG that we minted the first week. Each user will receive a number of UBXG depending on the size of their staking position in the total pool. After that, we're going to propose 3 pools on the UpBots interface. The first one is to stake the UBXG. So the users who received the UBXG will be able to stake them, and from that moment, they will receive a part of the performance fees received by UpBots. Every 12 hours, the pools of the performance fees collected by UpBots will be divided between the stakers of UBXG. The objective here is to receive a yield from the staking of the UBXG. The second pool is for the liquidity provider of UBXG USDT on Uniswap. By staking a Uniswap LP token, people will receive part of the UBXG that we are still minting over time. And the last pool is for the liquidity provider of UBXT USDT. Those people will also receive UBXG depending on the amount of liquidity they added on Uniswap. The benefits of this system is first and foremost to allow to have a way to reward in time the user of UpBots. Then it's to offer a way to reward UBXT liquidity provider in order to help the UBXT token as well. Another benefit is to encourage the long-term use of our tools, because by staking the UBXG or by becoming a liquidity provider, well, you will stay on the interface, you will get a return over time, and this return can also encourage people to come back on the interface to use bots, etc. Another benefit is also to offer a way to attract new users to the interface interested by farming. Indeed, if people are interested by the algobots, others are only interested by farming. Well, here we are attracting also those people. And lastly, it's also to reward the first adopters thanks to the degressive minting system. It means that the first arriver, the first people staking UBXT, for example, the first week will receive far more tokens than the people coming after 1 or 2 years. So with this system, it's also the objective to reward them. So as I said, everything here is still in development, and we expect to launch it as soon as possible. But be sure we're gonna warn you, and we're gonna update you about this element. All right, now let's talk about the performance fees calculation, because it's completely new the way we're going to do it. So I thought it was probably important to share that with you today. So our objective was to have a system completely fair for the developers and for the users. And so that's why we adapted a little bit the previous system. From now, a user will have to allocate an amount of UBXT to each bot during the activation. So, well, not really now, but when the interface will be officially launched, then the performance fees will be deducted from this allocation, just like it was planned before. Now, if the user has no more UBXT available, the bot will simply stop. It can, however, decide to activate an automatic refill to avoid the situation and to keep the bots running. Now the improvement part, basically when there is a negative result. In case of a positive result, it's quite simple. The correct amount of allocated UBXT will be directly withdrawn at the end of the trade. But what happens if the trade is negative? Well, normally you don't pay fees, but it's not fair if you have, I don't know, like 10 negative trades and the next trade is positive. Well, you will have to pay fees. That's not really normal. So we adapt a little bit the system. And now in case of a negative result, a kind of virtual debt will be created on the specific algorithm corresponding to the fees due if the trade has been positive. So let's say that you are earning $100 and the performance fees was at 20%. It means that normally you have to pay $20 of fees. Now, if the trade is negative and you lose $100, it means that you have a kind of virtual debt of $20. And as long as the virtual debt is not returned to zero with the next positive trades, well, no performance fees will be charged to the user. This means that the algorithm developer will have to ensure a long-term gains in order to benefit from a part of the performance. So it's more fair for the users, and in the end, it will push the developers to have always a better algorithm and a better strategy. All right, let's now talk about the planning. So it's true that we had a small delay with the official launch of the interface, initially planned in the end of December. But the truth is that with this interface, we are facing a lot of big challenge. And so we are increasing the team of developers in order to solve the challenge, but it takes time. For example, the issue with the Ethereum gas fees is something we had to solve. In addition to that, we had some delay due to the COVID-19 spread in the IT team, but now we are back on track. Everything is going right, and we are really all pushing to have all those features as soon as possible. So right now we are working on several different elements. There is the manual trade that we plan to launch really soon. There is the UBXT wallet. There is the ETH tracker. There is also the validation of transaction on the Binance chain because it's still in testing, but it's working normally quite well. We are also in the process of adding new algorithm and new exchange, and launch, of course, the performance fees system. And when this is done, and we are expecting to have this done really soon, at that moment, we're going to have the official launch. But it's not because it's going to be the official launch that the work is ended. We're going to continue to develop many other things, and we plan to have new exchange and margin for Q1 2021, and also adding the logs and the notification. In this planning, we also expect to have for Q2 and then Q3 the implementation of the new design. Normally it's for March, April, the launch of the UBXT DAO with the staking, the voting system, etc. For the voting system, I didn't mention it, but normally it's going to be on Snapshot, which is the classical interface for Yearn and for the others for the voting system. We're going to also launch the training section. That's also planned in a few weeks and months. There is also the launch of advanced trading features, the launch of Algo Lab. That's something completely amazing. Is the place where you will be able to code your own algorithm, or thanks to a kind of drag and drop system to develop your own algorithm. We also have the launch of the smartphone application planned soon, the implementation of the farming solution. I won't explain into details what we are planning to do there, but I can guarantee you that it's going to be amazing, and the signal provider marketplace. If we have time, we're going to, of course, add all the other things that we are planning to implement on the interface. So that's already the planning for the coming weeks and months. All right, that's enough for today. I hope that you found this video interesting and that you understood the vision that we are trying to implement in the project with the DAO, with the new performance fee system. If you have any comments or any question, all the team is, of course, there to answer to you. And I wish you a very good day and see you soon for another video. Bye-bye.